We're back with segment 2, April 18th, 2023. It is T-shirt Tuesday. Here's the second T-shirt of the day. You've seen it before. I have different T-shirts. They come up in rotation. This is one that is appropriate for today. And let's talk about that for a moment on the Ken Matthews Report. Questioning authority. You know, there's so many great memes out there. And there's so many, well, and this is not a meme. It's what is it, a slogan or not a logo, but a symbol, the "Don't Tread on Me." We've all seen it. We all have some. I know, I speak for myself, but I'm sure you have some of it. Maybe it's on your car, maybe, "Don't tread on me." You know, the yellow flag, the rattlesnake. Now, I think that started in Revolutionary times or prior. I want to say Navy, but I'm not sure. Shame on me. I know that, but I just forgot. But anyway, so you got all these great memes out there. America first. These slogans, these sayings. And this has been around for years, right? But let me point out, some of the most docile sheep, especially in academia, are people that roll with stuff like this, and then they don't do it. Make sense? I mean, eventually, we're going to have to call out people in an effort to get them on board with what's happening to the country, or we're not going to get the republic back. We've lost it. We're not going to get it back. So we have to call out people in authority, but we also have to, and do it nicely, do it gently, call out people who I want to be careful the way I'm saying this because everybody's different, right? People who talk a good game. People who go around and say, "Oh, I question authority." Well, I do, and anybody who knows me knows I do, and always have. I've always asked questions. And I really don't care if you're a high-ranking official or you're a cop. But I do it politely. It just shocks me how many people don't question anything, or they do, and then you say, "Well, let's go to that meeting and well, no, I don't want to go that far. I mean, I'll bitch about the IRS and Congress, but I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to speak openly. Come on now." Okay. Again, this is not me saying, and I've never said it, be violent. No. We're not talking about violence. We're not talking about even boycotts. We're not talking about roadblocks. We're not talking about all the stuff that the left brings to the table pretty much every day somewhere in America. We're just talking about something simple. Question authority. Excuse me, I have a question. Now, people who are in the know about the deep, dark secret between Congress and the IRS, and here's the thing, because it is tax day. I wasn't going to bring this up, but why not? The IRS, as much as we want to say they're to blame, like the IRS agent or the woman working at the window or the gentleman on the phone, they're not to blame. It's Congress. Congress makes the law. Congress creates the taxes. The IRS doesn't create the taxes. They're the collection arm and now the enforcement arm because, speaking of arms, they're well armed. But it's always been the Congress. It's always been the Congress. And what the Congress does is just what Joe Biden has done and what many politicians do. They gaslight other agencies. Right? What was the first thing that Joe Biden said when President Trump's team accused him of facilitating and instigating and signing off on the search of Mar-a-Lago illegally. It was an illegal search on several counts, and we'll find out that hopefully in the next month. It was just BS. And what we're finding is so many searches are that. But let's stay with President Donald Trump and the kabuki theater of the FBI search. And the first thing Joe Biden said was, well, I have nothing to do with it. I didn't know anything about that. The president's office. We don't control the FBI. And they did it. They said, get your ass back over there and find something. See, that just came out. No one cares about it. That's where the whole questioning authority comes in. But again, I know how small you can feel when things around you are not what they seem and walls are either being moved back, goals are being moved, and walls are caving in. You're not alone in that at all. As an American citizen, together we have so much power. But if you're just one American citizen sitting in that January 6th cell, wondering why for the last 2 years, I got bad news for you. The Congress ain't coming for you. Your senator ain't coming. Now, hopefully, enough people will question authority. But most people talk a good game. And you know when you see it? I go to these meetings and I see these people that actually have rolled up their sleeves and gotten involved and they've taken a hit for it. They're running for things. They're investigating things. They're out in the public. They're raising money. They're supporting people that are controversial. But the parties, that's where you really see the difference. See, you go to a big GOP hoo-ha. Is that a thing? Oh, the hoo-ha. Oh, a hoo-ha. Oh, a hoo-ha is a sexual part. I didn't know that. I did not. Stay away from the GOP hoo-has and yayas and whatever. But you go to a GOP big meeting, and you can use a forklift, and I used to drive one, to shovel the poop. You know why? Because the GOP thinks they're authority. I want to get back to questioning authority. There's a big difference between being a troublemaker or breaking the law or being an insurrectionist and questioning authority. See, the thing that makes America unique, in my opinion, and I'm sure other people would agree, is all the authority in America is ours. It's all ours. All of it. We allowed you, we gave you the authority. Whether you're a sheriff, a district attorney, a senator, that's what separates our government, or at least it did until Obama showed up. But, you know, I hate blaming Obama for everything because this has been going on for a long time. The eroding of our authority because we've been afraid to question our authority. Now, I don't have 13 hours to go through, 10 books on the IRS and whatever. However, I will point out this load of crap. I've showed it to you before. It's 3 inches thick. I measured it because I wanted to be able to tell people. It's 3 inches if you want to measure it. 3 inches thick. Winter 2023. The complete Internal Revenue Code. Okay? And again, as you're reading this crap, and again, Pennsylvania had a surplus tax, and last year we had more taxes come in than we needed to run the country. And yet, year after year, we're in debt. But anyway, because we don't question authority, this happens. And every year there's more. You talk about laws. These are just laws to take your money. This isn't the penal code. This isn't the justice code. This is just to take your money. This book, this is for last year. I know because I'm trying to get through it, and it's a nightmare from hell. It really is. It really is. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything that was designed. This is designed for one reason: to intimidate you, to take away your authority and your power, to confuse you, but to force you to get assistance. That's what this is for. This is not, oh, it's so easy. Just go to page 2289 and look up code, code section 514 C-5 C Charlie I Ida, section 2. Property acquired subject to mortgage. For purposes of the subsection, A, general rule. It's simple. No, it's not. This whole pile of garbage was designed not by the IRS, by your representatives over the years. This is the result of Congress. This is the result of Congress because they have the purse strings. You've heard that before, right? This is the result of Congress pre-1913 and before, saying there's got to be a way we can get more money. When was the income tax law, right? 1913, right? Gosh, I hope I get that right. I'm pretty sure I did. This is a result of Congress. Corporate adjustments, deductions, exclusions from income. I've never seen, it's a farce. It's a farce. Do you know the money that you have to pay if you want to question the authority of Congress? Well, first of all, they won't let you. I mean, you can, but they won't let, they'll put it off for years. The whole reason I bought this is because, like you, for years, I have been looking at the fake authority of the United States government. And I say fake because we have the authority. And I know people hear that. They hear, well, the Congress answered to us. And I know even Republicans, you roll your eyes and yeah, right, whatever. You know, the only thing that you could count on is death and taxes. Ha, ha, ha. Bah, bah. That's a sheep sound. The thing that is so frustrating about the Internal Revenue Code, it's unconstitutional. This could be 3 pages long. It could be 1 page for what are direct taxes. Page 2, what are indirect taxes? Page 3, what is the appropriation financially of the states and their responsibilities? That's it. That's all you need. That's it. That's it. That's how you run a business. What's coming in? What's going out? What do we need? How do we apportion? I said appropriate. I meant apportion. Appropriate is what our government does with your money and my money. It comes in by the boatload, and then they give it out to people who they need to buy votes from. It's horrific. This entire thing. And then I'm going to drop it. I'm not going to drop it on my leg. It could break my leg. It's very heavy. This entire code is designed to scare you into submission. Sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? Does the concept of scaring you into behavior sound familiar? You better wear that mask or you're not coming in here. I'm sorry you didn't get vaccinated? Bye-bye to your job. Sir, if you're refusing to get out of the car, I'm going to have to yank you out of the car and beat the crap out of you. And then, when I realize I broke the law, we'll just make it go away. It's our authority. The authority of the government of the United States all comes from the people. This farce is directly on Congress. I know we bitch about the IRS. And maybe one of the reasons I'm doing this is I recently met someone that works for the IRS. And I said, your life's got to be a living hell right now. And they said, yeah, it's not a fun time. And I realized a lot of these people are just doing their job. But there are so many broken laws and regulations in government because Congress, you've heard the term. You've heard it in every major debate, every major issue. There's already laws on the books. Why do we need more laws? It's true. Again, I'm going to show you this for the last time. And there's an addendum. There's an addendum coming for this is winter 2023. All right. But there's an addendum coming in the summer. There'll be like several thousand more pages, in case you're wondering. Let's see what we got here. We got 4,000. How many pages is this? Hold on. 4,076 pages. This is just the bullcrap that Congress made up without your consent in order to extract more money from you. This is just 1 year. These are the laws. This is the laws for 2022. This isn't criminal law. It's not boating law, shipping law. No. It's not murder law. It's not larceny. Actually, it is larceny in my opinion. But this is just what Congress made up to take your money. And it amazes me because you see people rolling around with question authority and don't tread on me and, screw the IRS and take back our government. Okay? And every day they steal. And every day they lie. Joe Biden, the great lie. Now we find out there are 9 people in the Biden family tree that are being investigated for inappropriate behavior regarding finances and stuff. Questionable, whatever. So I've been talking about Frank and James. They look almost just like Joe, by the way. If you lined them up, not quite triplets, but very similar in build and whatever. So, half the time, I think that if Joe is too tired to go out, which is probably every day, he probably calls up James and says, hey, put on a mask. Go walk the dog with Jill. Let him take some pictures of you at Rehoboth. Because they look the same. But James, he's partnered with Joe. Frank is partnered with Joe. Obviously Hunter. And now there's 6 others. But it all gets back to questioning authority. We have every single right, constitutionally, to question everything and anything we want to question that the government is doing or any agency is doing because we have given them the authority. And we don't use that authority. I don't question everything. There's a lot of things I didn't question over the years. I rarely questioned the Bush administration, and that was a horrible mistake. I think other people would agree that was a bad mistake. We must use our right to question authority. We'll do a deep dive on taxes. I'll get somebody in here that is really an expert, you know, not just some guy like me that reads books and stuff. I'll get some expert in here that knows his way around it. But it's just so frustrating because we don't question authority. It has to be us. It has to be us now. It's not the media. The media doesn't question anything that goes against their, you know, revenue flow or their narrative. Why is it that you and I have to question the Bidens and the money and Obama and Benghazi and Fast and Furious and Syria and Ukraine and the border? Why is it you and I doing it? There's not enough of us doing it, but who else is going to do it? Who else will question authority? Authority won't. But then when you read the documents of our country and you read the Constitution and you go back as far as the Magna Carta and you go to the Declaration of Independence and then you get into the tax code and you read the tax code and you say, this is horse poop. Where did this come from? It came from Congress. And if you look at the evolution of taxes from colonial times, did you know your labor was never taxed? Up until 1913, this is such a grift. It's not needed. You don't need it. It's not needed for the budget. Think about it for a minute. Some people argue a tax is a penalty. Others say it's revenue. It's all about definitions. But the real definition is direct tax and indirect tax. Those are the biggies. And a direct tax is unconstitutional. You work 10 hours today. I'm going to have to take some of that money. How so? That's a direct tax. You can't do that. You can do an indirect tax. You can say, I see you bought a new car. I'm going to tax you on your car. I'm going to tax you on your food, tax you. Some states don't tax on clothing. You pay all these permits. You pay for the right to hunt. You pay for the right to eat. Think about the absurdity of this. And then we'll move on, because I don't want to get your blood pressure up as high as mine was this morning. We're going to move on. The government wants you dependent on them because that's how you control somebody. How do you control someone? You remove their authority. You remove their strength. You've got to get somebody weak, vulnerable, exposed, alone, right? That's how you control someone. That's how any criminal does it. That's how any criminal enterprise works. Any cartel, whether it's the Biden cartel, the Medellin cartel, the Clinton crime syndicate, they all work the same way. We need people that are compromised, weak, or that can be bought. And then they get so much money in the being bought process, they're afraid to lose it, so they do what they're told. Or we get them so broke that, okay, I'll do whatever you say, government. I want to get that check. What do I need to do? And this all stems from power. It's power. I get you're going to tax the production of this property, or you should tax the profit of a business and this, that. This stuff I just mentioned would all fit on one page. Every year, Congress comes up with a new way to take your money. And every year, we don't question it. We just say, oh man, did you see that new tax on the thing? On the thing, really? Yeah, I never thought they taxed the thing. Well, that's the thing. They tax the thing. But they can't tax the thing. It says right here in the Constitution. Well, that's another thing. They don't give a crap. And neither do we. Neither do we. One of the biggest scams going is property tax. 75-year-old people paying taxes on property they paid off how long ago? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Why are you taxing them? Are they producing something? Like in the original Constitution? If you read the original tax framework from the Constitution, yeah, if you're 75 and you paid off the property, but every year you're generating $1 million in profit off that property, well, there'll be tax. There's tax on production, right? But there's not supposed to be tax on you or labor. And taxes are supposed to end after you pay the initial fee. But what happens? You get taxed. Everything is taxed. Either directly or indirectly, right? And there are some taxes that are completely illegal according to the Constitution, but the Congress came in and said, well, you know, things are kind of tough. I really think we need to start taxing food. And a visit to the doctor's office. And if you buy this or if you buy that, okay, that's acceptable to a degree, right? I understand toll roads, school taxes, right? Do you know how ineffective it's a punchline? They're a punchline. And sadly, we dumb down our population. I got to tell you, it's very taxing. As a fellow taxpayer, it's very taxing. But just look at the whole concept. You will never own your property. Ever. Even when you die, the taxes from Congress will be passed on to your children. What is that? Well, that's theft. That's a dictatorship. That's a monarchy. That's what kings do. Attention, attention, everybody must pay me something. You mean like the mob? Yeah. You can laugh all you want. You can just say, oh, great, another angry guy ticked off. He's got to pay taxes. He's not grateful for what he has. He resents paying taxes. No, I resent being robbed. I don't resent paying taxes. Not once have I said eliminate taxes. Not once. I've never said that. In fact, the dumb ass argument on the other side is always, this guy wants to eliminate government. No, I don't. We need government. We need infrastructure. This guy wants to get rid of taxes. Some of them, yeah. The ones that you're using to rob innocent people, yeah. I want to get rid of those. Do you remember the Tea Party? How did that start out? What was that? Taxed enough already. T-E-A-T. Taxed enough already. That's when it really started to percolate. That's when it all started. That's when people started to wake up. They needed to see someone like Barack Hussein Obama, who said, in 5 days, I'm going to transform America. We're going to get this socialist communist train rolling. Finally. Finally, we got a real commie in there. And people didn't question the authority. Because when you question the authority, what did they say? They either said, shut up and pay your taxes. Or they said, shut up, you're a racist. Or shut up, you're undermining what we've got going here. What do we have going here? We have the biggest grift in history. We have the wealthiest country in America, and yet its population loses wealth as another part of the population gains wealth. This isn't a pick on the rich thing. Our government steals from everybody. Our government steals from veterans. They steal from low-income people, or they use them as pawns. They steal from wealthy people, upper middle class, lower middle class. People have no idea. We just blindly follow along. And now we're at the point where we follow along with everything. Well, don't write that down. What do you mean? Well, you're not allowed to say that anymore. Are you out of your effing mind? I'm not allowed to say that anymore? Stalin, look, I got to interrupt you, Stalin. You're in the wrong country trying to do this, and you're really rubbing people the wrong way. This whole, you can't say that, you can't do this, you can't put your money there. What the hell's going on? We just don't question authority. We don't question anything. We don't question anything. Every now and then you'll get a Karen. Sir, why don't you put your mask on? And then Karen will drive home, past the crack house. She won't say anything. She'll go home and she'll pay her taxes. Let me just write this check out to the Joe Biden family because I know they're having a tough time. But there's Karen. I'm very offended by that bumper sticker. I'm calling the police. You'll question chicken poop, but you won't question people that need to be questioned. Every single person that stole our authority, they're working in your capital. They're working in Washington, D.C., your state capital as well. It's our authority. I know it makes people uncomfortable when you see those shows where people are, the police officer says, ma'am, I need you to get out of the car, please. I don't have to get out of the car. Ma'am, don't make me. You can't make me get out of the car. I don't even have to show you ID. Have I committed a crime? And people get really, whoa, man, they're asking for it. Well, what do you mean they're asking for it? Do you know we live in a police state. We're afraid of the police. We're afraid of the IRS. We're afraid of Joe Biden. All these people that should fear us, the men and women that go into work and have to abide by the Constitution. They took an oath. That's something else I need to talk about. There's a story going around, I haven't confirmed it yet, that every Congress takes the oath, obviously, and then prior to going into their office, literally going to work, they have to document, sign, and register their oath. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I just found that out a couple days ago. And a whole bunch of them haven't. Wait a minute, what? Did you ever start a new job? Yeah, you got to get that employment form. You got to get your handbook signed. Sign off on that employment form, or you can't start working. We'll get in a lot of trouble if you just roll in and you don't sign that form. And then plus, that's how you get your key card. Remember? We have a whole bunch of members of Congress that never signed the form. We have members of Congress that are violating their oath legally because they never signed the contract with us. I do solemnly swear to protect the Constitution against all enemies, both foreign and domestic, and to execute and follow the Constitution, blah, 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 blah. They never signed it. It's just like when you learn that the police have no legal obligation to protect you or to intervene in a crime. Did you know that? What the heck is that? Well, we're not questioning. We're just not asking enough questions. We don't ask enough questions. Sometimes we're afraid of the answer. Sometimes we're just afraid to ask the question. I don't know if I want to ask the principal that. I don't want any trouble here. She is the principal of the middle school, you know. She carries a lot of weight. We're living on planet. We went from living on planet stupid. Now we're living in the galaxy of the absurd. And we're surrounded by different planets and things and planet passive, planet submissive. What the heck's going on in our country? And that started out as a 5-minute reference to, and look at what I just did. I just did a 30-minute monologue for an introduction. Question authority. It doesn't mean burn things. It doesn't mean break things. It doesn't mean tell people to F off. It means question authority. It doesn't mean be rude. But do you realize that most people in positions of law enforcement don't understand the law as well as they should? Do you know that most people in Congress don't understand the Constitution at all? That's a problem. It's a real problem. Do you ever wonder why taxes go up every year? Well, that's because, have you seen the roads, Ken? Don't you? That's what tolls are for. I get so tired of people, the same way that a dirty government or a crime cartel, misappropriates funds, they misappropriate blame and responsibility and authority. People that don't follow what the hell's going on always misappropriate authority. Well, you got to do that because so-and-so said. Who's so-and-so? Well, Dr. Fauci's assistant. What the hell is going on here? What is going on? People driving around in Idaho. Gosh, I hope the UN doesn't pass that law. Then we're going to have... What planet are you on? I know. We're on planet stupid. We're all in it together. In the galaxy of the absurd. Yeah, I went to high school with people that were like rebels. Rebels. Same with college. Rebels. They were in everybody's face. They were going to do this and quit. I look at some of them now and they're like, meh. I got to admit, it is, and you know it. We all went to high school with, the wild gal now is like a mom of 7 and she's in a homemaking magazine. And, she was like hanging from the rafters at a party when she was 19. Remember? And then the calm, cool, collected guy, the nerd, he's a rebel. He's on he's got like a Valor Award from the military, special ops. It's the craziest thing, how people change, and isn't it? The people that I thought when I was younger that would push back and question authority and take responsibility and help steer things in general, they all turned out to be not that impressive. And then some of the others, they just soared. They became leaders. And I'm not just talking about, this has nothing to do with getting a phenomenal job or being elected to something. You either question authority or you don't. You either go along to get along or you don't. And people that want your power and want your authority count on that. They count on it. That's why women, they've been in the forefront of this movement to push back on the conditioning of our children and the grooming of our children. And I know, because I've seen it firsthand. Some dads are like, oh, I don't want to go to that meeting. Honey, do you really have to make a scene? Do you really have to make a scene at the meeting? So what if Timmy wants to become a woman? I mean, that's why I voted for Hillary, honey. Okay, well, that's the wrong example. But it's our authority. We're the only government that has that. We're the only government. We're the only ones. It says we the people. That's it. That's where the authority lies. We the people. The authority does not It's not in the Oval Office. That's a figurehead. The authority is not, well, you know, the IRS has the authority. They don't have jack crap. Now they have guns. More guns. Which should really worry you. Why does the collection agency for the United States Congress have so much armor? Question authority. We're the only country on earth where we have the authority. Case after case after case after case. People win. They do win sometimes. The rights come from God. They're formalized in a context, in the framework of this great government. But we have the authority. And sometimes and it's funny because we've been so conditioned that we don't have the authority that when we hear someone questioning the authority, other people are wincing. Oh my God, I can't believe he's talking to the cop that way. You can't do that. Like hell I can. I have free speech. I'm not going to threaten a cop. I'm not going to threaten anybody. I'm not going to hurt anybody. But we've been beaten down to be so passive. Put on the mask, get the shot, pull over now. You can't have that on your car. Change your headlight. No, you can't grow that. You can grow this, but not that. Up, you're 4 feet too close to that creek and that tree. You can't do that. And we just go, okay, got it. Whatever you say. Whatever you say. More people need to watch the Hunter Biden video. It should be played in schools, 17 and older, to get a sense of the people running the show. We have the authority. We gave it away. We start out with all these rights, and we just give them away. Sometimes we do it because we're afraid. Sometimes we do it because we're broke. Sometimes we do it because everybody else is. So yeah, I take this literally, and anybody who knows me personally knows I do. And there are millions of people like us and like me. There are millions of people that question authority, and they do a better job of it than I do. There are millions of people that have put their livelihoods on the line long before I started. Heck, they've been doing it throughout history. Men and women. They've been questioning authority. They've said, wait, whoa. It says here you can't do that in the Constitution. Who do you think you are, little lady? You think you're some type of lawyer? No, I'm just reading the Constitution here, and you're violating it. Lock her up. That's been going on for years. And yet we never question it? I don't know. Definitely at a turning point. All right, let me jump over to one of my faves. Laura Logan, one of my faves. And I would say someone who is seeking the truth and has put it all on the line more than once. Let's see if this montage, can we fire it up? By the way, this is my Gab page. Check it out if you'd like. You'll find me on Gab, at least for the time being. I'm still on Twitter. Every now and then I'm on YouTube. As far as I know, I'm on Rumble, but we'll have to see how that's going. I'm on Truth Social. And, of course, you can email me directly, ken@kenmatthewsmedia.com. Let's fire it up. Laura Logan, a real journalist.
We're being corralled into this box where we either have to hate Vladimir Putin and believe everything evil that's said about him and love Ukraine, and there's no in between. And that reminds me a lot of you're either a white supremacist or you go with the Democrat narrative on everything under the sun.
The most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today, white supremacy.
And I want to understand white rage, and I'm white.
I mean, there's as much interference here as you could possibly imagine. Before you even get to Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, and all of their children who earn millions from Ukrainian gas companies. These days, it's hard to believe anything because they've lied about COVID, they lied about Russia collusion, they lied about the Ukraine impeachment trial, and there's so much more going on in Ukraine that nobody is talking about.
Does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
My job as a journalist is to try to understand what is the truth here. I don't like being lied to, and we're being lied to on an epic scale. When we're told your only choice is you have to be 100% with Zelensky.
Slava Ukraina,
who's a puppet, who you can find on the internet in black stilettos and leather pants. Zelensky was selected, like so many of our leaders. And honestly, with big tech and with election fraud these days, we don't know how many leaders all around the world have been selected for us and weren't actually voted in.
How to build back better.
We have to build back better.
Build back better.
If Donald Trump gets the Republican nomination, there are many of us that will move heaven and earth to ensure he doesn't win.
We are fighting the same battles all over the world. To pretend that this war is about Russia and Ukraine is a barefaced lie. Putin has been warning for 15 years that he is not going to stand by while the globalists take over the world, build bioweapons facilities and whatever else they're doing in Ukraine. Ukraine has been a center of money laundering for many of the leaders in this country. Billions of US dollars have been laundered through Ukraine, and we say nothing about it. Does nobody question these things? We have an idiot like Lieutenant Colonel Vindman.
Mr. Vindman.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Do you always insist on civilians calling you by your rank?
And sits there as a lieutenant colonel. He didn't even make colonel. And he's telling the president of the United States what his policy should be. You have a traitor in the form of Maria Yovanovitch, who was Obama's ambassador, who's telling Ukrainian government officials, don't listen to the will of the American people.
In his July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, the president badmouthed Yovanovitch, calling her bad news.
I was shocked, absolutely shocked.
And then she's given a cushy job for life at Georgetown University, and we're told that the president of the United States cannot say to his foreign counterparts that we want you to look into something.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a bitch. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So much hypocrisy and dishonesty here, and Ukraine is at the center of it all.
Wow. Good stuff. I know that it was a montage. It was what you'd call a sizzle reel. It was a great promo. But anybody who's followed Laura Logan knows she is a hardcore, legitimate journalist. She's looking for the truth. And there are many of us that continue to do that. And again, what I saw in that was another example of we need to question authority. It's that simple. We gave it away. And if we don't start peacefully, constitutionally, getting up in people's legal faces, that's a figure of speech. This is not like what Maxine Waters screams at the top of her lungs on a Radio Shack microphone when she says, follow them in the bathrooms. Get up in their faces and you tell them they're not welcome here. No. We need to ask questions. Why am I paying this? Why am I injecting this? Why am I doing this? And Ukraine is a piece of a puzzle. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow. What is tomorrow? Wednesday? Yes, because today's T-shirt Tuesday. So tomorrow I'm going to shave and put on a coat. And I'm going to be professional from the waist up. Boy, that sounded like, that almost sounded like another weird statement, didn't it? Professional from the waist up. We're the only country left that has we the people and authority in the same sentence. We're the only country left where we the people have some authority. That's it. There are no other countries. Name one. Name me another country where we the people have as much authority remaining as we still have constitutionally. Name one. Shoot me an email, ken@kenmatthewsmedia.com. Say, no, Ken, you were wrong. Haiti, Belgium, Spain, Italy, Brazil, Guam, the Sudan, they all, no. We're the last country. When you look at it that way, when you look at it this way, when you say The United States is the last country remaining that has any type of population constitutionally sanctioned authority over its government. People in power don't want that. We're the thorn in their side. Those damn Americans with all their rights and constitutions. Why can't the people of America just shut up and do what Biden says? And also pay attention to people that talk like that. When someone says to you, look, just do it. My God, why do you have to question everything? Ken, come on. Just do it. I remember, I'm not going to turn this into a long thing. I just want to, the last person who said that to me lost their job. And I felt terrible about it. I even expressed, sympathy and whatever. But we have all this power and authority as American citizens. Individually and together. That's the other thing we forget. Our Constitution is driven by individual freedoms. God-given individual freedoms. The individual, something else that we have going for us still over the other countries. It's not about the collective here. Communists want to make it about the collective. They want to make it about the community. They want to say the state comes first. Your kid's class comes before your kid. That's communism. Wake up. We need to use this or lose it. I'm telling you, the clock is ticking. It is. I've never seen it like this. I've never seen so many passive people. There are so many of us that are engaged, and we are fed up, but there's still too many people that are passive. Come on, Ken, just live your life. Stop questioning the government. It is what it is. Just pay your taxes. Just be lucky you're not like fill in the blank. No, that isn't how we're going to do it. That isn't going to how we're going to do it. And a message to people that are trying to shut us down, you're just making us stronger, just so you know. I know that people in government, you think you've broken so many people out here, then you need to go to a Patriot meeting or a Tea Party meeting or a election freedom meeting. Maybe that's why they're so afraid, because of the truth. Well, hopefully it'll be out this summer. The truth. Maybe it'll be like a movie coming this summer. The truth. Millions will ignore it. Come on, just stop the truth talk. Biden's a good guy. Stop picking on him. And Obama's, well, he's just pretty. Leave him alone. All right, I'm going to stop now. I know that was a weird segment, but hey, it was a segment, okay? Thank you, subscribers. You guys are the best. That includes ladies. I'm from Jersey. Everybody's called guys. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.